Your San Jose Sharks return from the holiday break victorious in Vancouver. We'll break this one down. We will get on to this exciting night where the kids really showed up, and so did the vets, too. All around a great victory for Team Teal. Let's talk about it right now. This is Teal Town After Dark. It really is, I swear. It's been a bit since I hosted the show. Damn it. Good evening, everyone. It is Saturday night, December 27th, 2025. The San Jose Sharks are victorious over the Vancouver Canucks 6-3, and we welcome you to this edition of Teal Town After Dark, your live and interactive Sharks postgame. We do this after every game, so if you want to be part of the show, chat with us and fellow hockey fans all over the world and in Sharks territory on the YouTube page or the app. You can always find us on the socials. Kudos to Felix knocking it out. Live game gifting on the Twitter machine, the Blue Sky, and the Threads. You can find everything at tealtownusa.com. And if you want to support the pod, you can do so on Venmo at tealtownusa, or you can hit us up on a super chat live in the chat room right now. Joining me, of course, the other Eric who likes to spell his name the right way. It's Kuhre Landi. Bud, I haven't think I've done a show in forever with you, man.
No, dude. Well, certainly since Christmas break, right? But since before the Christmas break, but it's been a while. So, anyways, good to see you again, brother.
Oh, yeah. Very good to see you.
And it's good to see a Sharks win. I mean, it looks pretty good as far as the team kind of being cohesive, and they've had a couple of challenges this game and they rose to them, which I really like. So yeah, we'll get into it, but yeah, awesome to see the team kind of collectively come together and put this one together.
Yeah, no, they needed to get back on track. This was the second time that they've been on a 3-game losing streak. The other time was when they started 0-4-2. That was obviously covered in the broadcast tonight. You had a number of things going for the Canucks, where the Canucks have won 4 of their last 5, and I think I want to say since the Quinn Hughes trade, they've been on a roll lately, which has been crazy for them. Just to piss off Vancouver sports fans left and right, which is no offense to my fellow Canucks,
It's not that hard to do that.
Well, yes, no rioting, but you love this. You love to see it, a victory against the Canucks as always. I can hear AJ in San Jose already say, "Yeah, screw those Canuck fans."
I think I hear him now.
Oh yeah. But hey, good to see you all in the chat. Let's take a look at the chat and see what you're talking about this evening. Big Bird saying, "Why are we letting them hang around?" And thank goodness they got some took care of a lot of things. It just seemed like they were hanging in their third period. Then things changed tonight. Big Bird, you were in here tonight, my friend. Thank you for jumping in early.
Well, let's start. I guess we'll start with the first period then, right? Well, Mook and Dickinson play, and Letty doesn't, and we win. Who would have thought? Yeah, right. When you have a fairly mobile defense, look at what happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, it helps. Although I will say there were a couple of times the guys kind of got burned on speed a little bit, but Askarov was there, and that was a big thing that you didn't have last year. Landy, was these guys were not getting completely burned, and finding a way, and having each guy helping them out and getting the job done, throughout the night. And that's the other thing, there lapses in judgment here and there, sure, but still a 60-minute effort got the job done.
Yeah. So starting off on the first period, it was good to see the fourth line getting that goal with Ryan Reeves, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Ryan Revo getting his third of the year. It's 6 minutes in with Gaudreau and Iorio. Iorio floating up a puck from the back end, and you see both Reeves and Barclay Goodrow crashing the net. It was kind of hanging on the goal line. I think we were kind of all like, "Oh, please go over, please go over!"
Come
And then
on, come on.
come on, and I don't know, the camera kind of lost sight of it, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's in the net, so it got in there somehow. So
Only
pretty
one
pretty
Iorio,
amazing
Vinny, and
to
that
see
hits toward
the guys,
the goal line,
really
and
have
Demko
intuitiveness. And I
can't
love
keep
to
it
have
out.
the
Sharks
fourth
score.
line
Ryan
start,
Reeves might have put it in.
scoring.
Let's
I
wait
feel
and
like it
see
just
who gets
draws
credit for the
everybody else
goal.
into
But the
game,
Sharks
right?
take the
It's
lead,
like if the
and
fourth
it's
line is
Revo
on,
indeed.
then that means everybody else
Mention
needs
it.
to be
Good
on.
job on the
Everybody else needs to be
forecheck.
there.
Get to the net.
Yeah, and
Shot.
the forecheck,
Bit of a
they
screen.
mentioned
It's
the
sitting
forecheck
there,
was really
sitting there.
strong
Not
in that
covered,
first
not
period.
covered. Then
Yeah, and they
just
came on strong
as Thatcher
early
Demko is
in
reaching
the first
for
period,
it,
and they have, again,
Ryan
like you
Reeves,
mentioned,
the big man,
the fourth
comes in,
line
and you're not
doing
going to stop
things,
Ryan Reeves
and
on that one.
just
There
seeing
he
them
gets
crashing
it.
the net,
Just go to the net.
which
Go to the net
is
hard.
nice, and I get why Demko was upset, but I mean, all we gotta say is, so Revo got more goals than Evander Kane tonight. That's all I'm gonna put out there.
Yeah, that's chef's kiss. But anyways, sorry. So okay, so everybody's saying that the audio from the clip is kind of drawing us out. So
Oh,
my mistake. So I will
got it.
not talk over the clip. Thank you,
No,
everybody.
I think so. What's happening is that the audio clip is blocking our sound. So we apologize for that. So we will not be able to show the highlights from it. But hey, you got to see Revo, which is nice. But again, crashing the net, it was nice to see. The Sharks would then, would double up the lead at 2-0, and Klingberg with a nice little wrist shot on here. But I noticed something with Demko tonight. He was lifting up that pad just a little bit, and it was scooting through a big gaping 5-hole.
Yeah, I think the pad was kind of bothering him a little bit, so going down into the butterfly, that 5 hole, I think, was open and exposed just a little bit. But also Klingberg was really fast on that shot. I mean, I just he gets set and pivots his body, and as soon as he pivots his body, that wrist shot's off. I also think that there is a little bit of the side to side movement, lateral movement that gets goalies off of their natural stance too. So I think in addition to it being a quick shot, it was good to see them add some lateral movement. But like you said, he was kind of favoring that left pad a little bit this evening. So.
Yeah, that made it 2-0. 2 goals in about a minute 44, I believe, for the Sharks to really get things going. Yeah, the Canucks would come back with a score a power play goal. Former Sharks prospect Linus Karlsson gets a wrist shot in there to make it 2-1, but that's pretty much it. I think everything kind of stabilized after the first period. You definitely saw, I mean, go figure. Your goal scorers after 20 minutes are Ryan Reeves and John Klingberg. And Klingberg, has had a renaissance lately, and kudos to him. He's almost to double digits.
Yeah, I mean, both Klingberg and Reeves have both had really good resurgence in their seasons. I think Revo more so, he's getting put in the right spots to excel, and Klingberg also not having to fully bear the load. I mean, yes, I think he is probably the most gifted offensive defenseman that we have, but he's not asked to play exorbitant number one offensive defenseman minutes. I think they've played him sparingly, and I think that they've put him in a good place to thrive. But it's not to the point where he's overworked and you're worried about the foot speed. Yeah, you're still, I think the jury's still out on how fast he can be. But just having one guy with an extra set of good mitts that can get his way through the ice, I think will do wonders for that back end.
And after sitting down, for a few games, I mean, it was definitely, I think, how how again, but you had to do reality check and you look in the mirror, all that and all that stuff, and you have to think that's gotta hurt your mind because you're a veteran NHL defenseman. When he was with Dallas, he was freaking lights out. Him and Heiskanen for the longest time, and then he bounced around a bit. So to kind of have things come around finally was absolutely chef's kiss on his part, indeed. So. Second period, you had William Eklund in NHL.com calling an own goal, but
Yeah,
but
weird.
Eki will take it, I think.
Yeah, I think Eki will take it because he's doing all the right things on that goal, right? You're crashing the net and you're being very stick-to-itive, right, to the play. And so these are all things that we've wanted for him to establish in his game. And I think he's continued to be very physical, a lot more physical than we've seen in previous seasons. And playing with Chernyshov and playing with Macklin Celebrini while Smith is out has really been great for his game. So they can really maximize the creativity on that line. So you've got, the playmaker and Celebrini can both shoot. He can shoot and he can play make. So, and I think Eki is the same way. They can both kind of intertwine between the two of them. And then you just have Chernyshov just going to the net, being the big bull that he is. and that's a recipe for a really, really successful line. So I like what they did tonight when they put those three together.
Yeah, they are starting to come together. I was hoping that Eklund would get up there with Celebrini and Chernyshov because I just think that Celebrini and Eklund definitely have a two-way, a defensive mind as well as they can scoring, and I think a little bit more that Eklund has been focusing on that part of his game a little bit more. Yes, he's struggled a bit with his goals or with his scoring touchability, but that's great to see Eklund do it. So 3-1 after 40, and the Sharks, if I'm not mistaken, chat help me out here. I don't think they've lost in regulation. I think they've lost one time in overtime. Or the shootout after leading after 40 minutes. So the Sharks were looking really good. However, the Canucks would definitely make things interesting. I think it was Brock Besser.
Rossi.
Or was it Rossi?
Third period, yep.
Come on. I was hoping for Brock Besser. Freaking.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, I think they updated that one. It's Marco Rossi.
Oh, yes, they did.
Hronek and Garland.
Yeah, they made it. So they made it 3-2, a little over half a minute into the period, and you're like, okay, all right. Yeah. We're gonna need the paper bag to breathe a little bit. But then the Sharks started coming together, and what better way to get your first NHL goal?
First off, we got to talk about Adam Gaudette doing a hell of a job getting that puck through the seam there, and Chernyshov just, like I said, just being right at the doorstep and being the bull. And what's he do? He's got a little bit of mitts too, so he can really just take his time and dissect the goaltender there. And awesome shot. But I loved the fact that they had Chernyshov with Gaudette out there, and I loved Orlov going down. I mean, you saw Orlov coming down the half board, and again he kind of kept that puck alive down there. So good to see a second unit power play goal. You don't really see them often. And honestly, that was really pivotal because that was from a 5-on-3 power play, and they had killed off, the first portion of it, and they got into a 5-on-4, and they did not look good. And then they were able to capitalize. So one thing I will tell you about the team is every time the bell was rung by Vancouver, San Jose was there to answer it right back. And that's the mark of a team that is really coming together and really maturing.
Yeah, and those are little things, the back checking, the play, the defensive play in the zone. Then you see the creativity offensively, as you were mentioning with Orlov. That pass from Gaudette was beautiful, and wait for Chernyshov to get open for his first NHL goal. I mean, kudos to him. Stick taps to him. He's been, I mean, a goal and assist tonight, I believe, for Chernyshov. I mean, 5 points.
Same for Mackey as well, goal and assist.
Yeah, and he continues to climb up there. He would add an insurance goal later to get him to 20 on the season. That's wow.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
trying to
let's not
remember
gloss over. Well, let's not gloss over the Drew O'Connor goal, right? It made it 4-3 on the shorthand, and that really ticked me off because that one was just a comedy of errors. They gave that up in their own zone, and you can't. I mean, what are you doing there, guys? Come on, have a little bit more urgency there. So that one really ticked me off, and that gave a little bit of breathing room, right? But then, of course, Macklin comes back with that. Just, I mean, when you need to either equalize or to calm a team down or just put the dagger through the throat, Mac's there.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully for that, because the Canucks were right back in it, and that was a sweet shot. It was a sweet shot. I wish Askarov had a chance to stop it, but he couldn't. But again, as he said, the power play has just been struggling. Yes, Chernyshov got one tonight, but you're net zero because you gave up a shorty. You can't do that, and that's the worst thing you're doing. Is, and like Big Bird was saying earlier in our chat, why are you keeping them in the game when you can put a stranglehold on them? And kudos to the Canucks for coming back.
And kudos to Mac for putting the dagger through, right? I mean, that was ultimately, really what said, okay, you guys are done. And beautiful mitts on Mac's goal. That's what I was talking about earlier. But yeah, again, don't play with the food. Have a little bit more poise in your own zone on the power play. Don't be as nonchalant on the power play. The team was talking about how the power play needs to be a weapon again, and good on the second unit for getting that goal. But first unit, come on, guys, it's been a little bit. We need a little bit more out of that. That power play, there needs to be some power in that power play.
Yeah, and that's the big one. Is you got? I get it. You don't want to get too crazy, but you don't need to show off. We rather have goals than the fancy moves and everything. So
just put the puck towards the net. Less perimeter play and more driving towards the net, and generate the offense off of lateral movement and rebounds. I mean, that's all you can do in this day and age. I mean, there's too much boxing out. I don't think long distance drives, you see them getting blocked more and more. So the higher percentage play is to get that puck down low first and try and crash the net instead of trying to do those perimeter shots. Now, again, Klingberg would beg to differ, right? Being the leading scoring defenseman in December, but that's not always going to work, right? And right. those plays will get bottled up, and it has been bottled up on the power play, especially because when you're focusing on those points and pressuring those points a little bit more, when you get into Klingberg's face, he doesn't, I don't think he's still 100%, right? I think this is the kind of the part where, the skating is back to, I don't know, 85, 90% of where it was. The mitts haven't gone, but I still think there's still a little bit of hesitation in the physical play still from Klingberg.
Yeah.
And rightly so. I mean, the guy's got 2 new hips, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you just want him to be safe. And of course, you got to get to January 30th before, his clause, kind of reduces down a little bit. So I think they keep doing what they're doing, and they'll be fine. Askarov's night, I thought he was fine. 24 saves on 27 shots. I mean, at some point, I think it was like three goals on 18 shots until Vancouver started trying to come back on the Sharks. But the Sharks would shut down. But Askey,
I,
for
I
you,
think I think that actually after the shorthanded goal, Vancouver had a big push that between that, the 10:43 mark and the 16:20 mark of the third period,
in
they
that
had
time
a
frame,
they had a pretty good push, and I thought Askarov made a couple of really gorgeous saves. So I have a feeling Askey is going to be very much like Nabby, where he's going to let it get close, or at times there are going to be times where you're going to want him to make one extra save, but I don't think he's going to give up the stinker, and I think he's going to keep you close in a game. And so tonight is the perfect example where they got within one goal and he buttons up
yeah.
a little bit more, and then once he gets a little bit more in the zone, then it's like, okay, he's locked in. So it almost kind of reminds me of like Camilo Doval as a closer, or
Oh
like,
God,
where they have to have a little bit of adrenaline in their play. They have to have a little bit of meaning to what they're doing in order for them to get the best out of them. But no, I thought goaltending was good tonight. And kept them in when they needed to be kept in.
yeah. Other than the shorty, Askey was
Yeah.
solid. Hank Vasuis is saying, yeah, and that one's not too crazy on it. So the Sharks win.
Yep.
6-3. They are back over NHL 500 at 18, 17, and 3. That currently puts them, I still think, on the outside looking in.
No, it put them
Or do they
in.
leapfrog? They
No,
leapfrogged.
yeah. So because they've have the Rose over, well, no,
Of course, it was the Rose. Sorry.
no, it wasn't the Rose. It was the head-to-heads on Utah.
Got it. Let me see. I'm pulling it up here. Oh yes, yes, because they have the game in hand.
Right.
Is how they do it. But man, this race is tight. LA currently has a top, one at 41.
But
And
that's 2 points away. I mean,
yeah.
that's 2 points away. And they've only played one less game than us. I mean, the Sharks are right there in it if they want to be in it.
Mhm.
That's the thing, that with this team, they control their fate. And to say that right before New Year's, for us to be saying the Sharks control their own fate, I wasn't predicting this. I mean, I had my wild hopes where this was kind of where we would be fighting for in the spot. That was like my most optimistic tealest of tinted glasses. Um and quite honestly, like, Macklin has surpassed my expectations already for the season, to be battling, for the league leader in points, to be putting up multi-point games like it's nothing, to be talked about with the ilks of the kid and with the great one. I mean, that's special. So we're seeing something special right now, and I
Oh,
want
yeah.
everybody in the chat to realize that it doesn't come around that often. So you
Woohoo.
gotta savor, yeah, you gotta savor the moments when you can. So just enjoy the ride and where the team is at. It does set up for an interesting spring, though. It really does, what this
And
team is gonna do.
there's the thing too, and I know Burge is commenting to Steve that if the Sharks are going to be a team like the Avs are now, they need a ridiculous amount of luck to find a player like Cale McClure, and that's the tough part. I think in the chat earlier, I'm trying to pull it back up here. We were getting questions. It's like, do we really think GMMG is going to sell when we're 2 points out of the playoffs? And I'm like, it depends on how
My
strict he's going to be on having the process
Greer,
continue going on.
Greer, I will tell you this, is not afraid to make difficult decisions, to make difficult emotional decisions,
Yeah.
but he's also not afraid to take the temperature of his team and know when to not mess with it. So he's very tactical in his maneuvers. So I could see a couple periphery moves, maybe. I mean, if Klingberg continues the way on the pace that he is and somebody gives you something stupid, I mean, you've got to listen to that, right? Because, I mean, Klingberg, for him to be doing what he's doing now, I mean, I don't know. Gaudette has shown me so much that I think he might be worth keeping around as a complimentary piece. Delandria.
And see, I thought Delandria has looked good up until like maybe a couple weeks ago. I
And
thought he
that's it.
looked really
It's
solid there.
Yeah.
So, uh, so that's the thing. Hank was countering back with Kling, Wen, Ferraro, Reeves should all be gone by the deadline. I think Revo's staying here for the
You got
vibes.
to keep. Yeah, you got to keep Revo, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they wouldn't try to re-sign him.
I know. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, a la John Scott. I mean, they just those kind of guys for whatever reason. They like teams like having them around. It's like a safety blanket, It's like the teddy bear. You keep it close because it makes you feel better and you play bigger.
Yeah, and that's the big thing too, is having a guy like him. You're not messing with Celebrini or Smith too hard, so we'll see that. But even when I would talk to Randy Hahn, he was talking about Wenberg being being that 2C 3C guy to help out depth wise, And I know Misa's at the World Juniors right now. He had an assist on Friday night in Canada's victory. But are we willing to jump the kid who's only played 7 NHL games, who played a pair of AHL games and now at the World Juniors? Are we going to throw him in as the number 2C? I don't know.
That's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. And he looked good. I grant him that. He didn't look out of place when he was up here. But when you've got an injury and you're coming back from that kind of injury, you also got to wonder what's best for the health of him too.
Right.
If it wouldn't be better to ease him in.
The tough part is now you're getting to that stretch. Now once you get into January, you're now getting to that point where it's like, okay, this is where you're supposed to start making your move. And it's like, okay, we've seen a little bit more playing time from Dickinson, and I thought he played fairly well tonight, even had some offensive scoring chances to try to get his second NHL goal, the poor guy. But time to get more chances out of it and just, letting him play and play through his mistakes. I mean, yes, you are in a playoff race. Yes, you are an up and coming kid. You're going to be the power play quarterback eventually. But
I honestly let Mook and Dickey play. Just let them play it out. I mean, I've had enough of Nick Leddy, to be quite honest with you.
yeah, he did not have a great night on before the Christmas break. So
I think the game has passed him by. Unfortunately, he's not physical enough and he's not fast enough.
yeah.
So it's like what, and the mitts are not what they used to be.
So
What are you bringing? I that's not to say like you haven't been a good player or anything, and I'm sure he's beloved on the team for being a veteran and stuff, but yeah, it hasn't shown me enough.
Yeah. Kyle Warner saying the boys have good chemistry and the fans want everybody traded. Well, the thing is and correct me if I'm wrong, Landy. The thing is that a lot of these pieces were supposed to be moved at the deadline to make sense for the kids to come into play. I don't know.
I think
it's kind of a
that's
change
the problem, right? I think that I don't think that I honestly don't think Greer envisioned the team being this good this fast. I think that a lot of the lot of what we saw this offseason told me, okay, they're one more year away from really wanting to compete. And this has accelerated the timetable a little bit. So it has put, I think, extra emphasis on the fact that the blue line needs some work. But what they brought in wasn't necessarily going to fix that,
Right.
because those are kind of more long-term, structural issues and long-term personnel issues. So it's tough because this has accelerated the schedule. Now, you don't want to break up the mojo with what they've got going on, but you also don't want to look at this as, okay, this is our, one shot to go for glory and we need to mortgage the future. And I don't think the team would ever do that, but make any ill decisions for the future. I don't think that the team is in a position to do that or should do that.
Right.
So I think if a move makes sense, they should do it.
Right. I don't think you're going to, like everybody's saying, I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh man, why didn't we go after Quinn Hughes? You fit and there's your power play quarterback, and all that. No, and like in the chat earlier, you have Polkamp, you have Kenyoni, you have Dickinson, who all can be major contributions to that. Jordan Bell Souza, hi. Is Sam behind you? He's right there. So literally, Jordan, once the game was over, he came in to sit on the beanbag to join in. So Sam was celebrating a victory tonight. I thought I'd let you see your buddy there. He's hanging in there.
So for instance, if somebody said, okay, we'll give you a young defenseman and a first round pick for Klingberg, and it was a contender that said we would give you that for Klingberg, I would definitely listen. And I would think I would make that move.
Barthy's Battalion. Sorry, lady. Well, at least one Sam has a home. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, like I and Dog is saying, I think this kind of agrees with you. You have to make some room for the guys so that they can make the team better. Lund, Musty could replace Skinner and Delhi. Yeah, and hopefully, there'll be others to replace Barclay Goodrup. But we'll see about that. It's going to happen, and there might be some moves that I mean, how many times have we questioned some of my career's moves, and right now, I kind of combine them, but the hurdle for Askarov essentially move is helping out.
What was an unsung move that happened at the beginning of the season that I've really thought's played dividends now? And they mentioned it on the broadcast too, but I was like, that Iorio kid's pretty good for being a waiver pickup. 6'4", 220-pound defenseman just happened to try to be floated by on waivers, and the Sharks needing a defenseman. I mean, that was a pretty shrewd move. So I think that's a piece.
Yeah. It's a nice piece to get. It reminds me of oh gosh, was AC Lant was a
AC Mont was a waiver pickup,
and you turned him into free money down the road for Tampa, and that was a sweet move too.
Or the defenseman. Who was the defenseman that we picked up? Detroit. We picked him up for future considerations.
Oh, Jake Wallman.
I mean,
we're still waiting to see the benefit of that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Of course,
But who the hell would have thought? Who would have thought, right? I mean, December 27th, Sharks sitting with 39 points, second wild card spot.
Yeah,
and we're talking about, do we need to tweak this thing? Do we need to maximize assets, or do we just keep it? I mean, such a 180-degree difference from where we were last year.
Oh, big time.
And it's just been fun to watch. That's the thing. It's just been much much more fun to watch. And it's been fun to see Celebrini not sulk because he's been in every game. It's good to see the team really rally around Askarov,
Mhm.
and starting to integrate the young kids. I mean, Chernyshov tonight getting his first goal. He's going to be a big piece. If he could be the Russian Ryan Klo, I'd be happy with that.
That'd be great. You're looking at the standings if you're watching us on YouTube right now. As we mentioned earlier, LA with their victory tonight, they sit at 41 points. They hold down the number one wild card in the West. San Jose with their victory and a game in hand on Utah leapfrogs the Mammoth at 39. Utah is at 39 as we speak as well. But look out! The bottom of the West is still within range. You have St. Louis at 38, Seattle at 36.
For that little stretch, man, they were just motionless. But I think it just goes to show you they're so reliant upon goaltending, that team. And I always kind of thought it was kind of a house of cards, the center set up there. I know Scheifele's a hella good player, but he can't single handedly get that team in. So they got to get him some help.
Yes, I see how I see how imagine if you cannot messing up the first two games. Yeah, I mean you remove a point from the two teams in the Pacific. Vegas, with their 11th overtime loss, leapfrogs Anaheim into first place. I want to mention that the first place Vegas Golden Knights have fewer wins than the San Jose Sharks, and they're in first place. I mean, it's just crazy.
And that team has underachieved, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, big time.
In my opinion, them and Edmonton have both underachieved. And look, I mean, Edmonton did it last year and they did it the year before, right? Where they got off to those god awful starts and freaking took a Herculean effort by McDavid to get back, into the playoff mix. But he's going to burn himself out if they keep doing that,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And it's only going to get more tough with the resurgence of the Ducks, with the resurgence of the Sharks, with other teams kind of coming up. Again, best player in the world, but you cannot continually put yourself behind the eight ball when it comes to standings and burying yourself in points and trying to make up for it in the last couple of weeks and expect yourself to go deep in the playoffs and have a good run, because you burn yourself out just trying to get back to the playoff hunt.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Okay, so audio kept skipping. Oh, lovely.
Oh, lordy.
Lovely. I'm sorry about that, gang. Okay, so we can't show graphics at all, I guess, not with the .com. So apologies for that. But yeah, to be in the playoff spot once again, nice to see. You're looking forward to that. Speaking of another team that's usually nice to look at, they played tonight, but tonight they didn't want to be looked at.
Barracuda.
Oh, the Barracuda. I'm on a sold out crowd on Wizardly World night. if you get what I mean.
Team Gryffindor.
The Barracuda got shut out 3-0 to the Ontario Reign, and not exactly the best game around, but yeah, I mean, Jamson, Lee, and Alexandrov all got goals for that. Isaiah Seville gets the 32 save shutout. The Cuda, come on, guys. Hey, guess who they play on Wednesday? I know this is kind of a pucknologist bit, but because
Mm,
it seems like they only play like a couple of teams on Wednesdays now.
yeah, it must be Condors.
That would be a good guess, but no, they are playing the Ontario Reign in Ontario.
Again?
Oh,
That's
but
what happens when you have a low travel budget in the AHL and you've
oh
got
boy.
only a few Western teams.
Now that being said, they do go to Bakersfield on Friday, so
Okay, all right. So I was
you were
close.
jumping the gun. You were jumping the gun on that one. So, but the Kuhre hanging in there. In their are they in? Are they still in second or third? I should have had this pulled up together, but damn it, Eric, get it right. See what happens when you get a few days off, which I'm thankful.
Hey, why are you cursing at me?
My bad. The victory, I guess, gets the Ontario Reign into a tie, although they get the tiebreaker because they have a game in hand on the Barracuda for second place in the AHL Pacific. Colorado still sits up at 39 points. And watch out, Calgary and Coachella are right behind the Cuda at 34. Ian will break down the week that was with the Barracuda on the Pucknologist on Sunday night at 6 p.m. And not the least of which, don't mind me going full screen here, Landy, but kudos to the Sharks. They've been sending me some promotional items to kind of promote on the show here. On the 3rd, first things first, me and Jules will be at the game, so we'll see you there. I'm kind of showing off what I'm going to be rocking at the game. Is this custom soccer jersey I put together? So look out for that. That's fun. But every fan is going to get. Well, they'll be fat, but it is a. it will fill up. I swear. I just didn't have a can, but the good old Quakes.
Your gift's
Sharks,
bigger, I swear.
Yes, it gets. That's what he said. So Quakes, Sharks soccer ball here. So that's always a good full arena giveaway. The week after that, First Responders Night, and
Oh no, Puck guy, you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Sounds like your audio died.
No, that's fun. Oh well. Well, hopefully, but you can still hear me. My audio is just meh. All right, we'll speed this up and get out of here then. But January 10th, you have the super cute Zamboni that's half ambulance, half fire truck. So that'll be fun to look out on there. Oh, my audio issues suck.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a fishbowl. All right, let's get this. Let's get this thing off.
You know what to do. Take us home.
All right. Well, let's throw up the graphic then, would you? All right. In case you missed it or you want to catch us again, check us out on the YouTube Rewind. Of course, your like and subscribe and hitting the bell notification goes a long way in keeping the lights on. So we appreciate you. We're going for the quest for 4,000. I can't believe it. So yeah, 4,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and do that for us. And again, if you want to check us out on the audio replay version of this, you can check it out on the Apple Podcasts. You can play over on the YouTube Music, of course, on SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Audacity, and then, of course, Odyssey app. I always say Audacity. But you can also check us out on tealtownusa.com for the recap and the audio/video version. So, looks like my compatriot has died on the vine here. So let's see if I can take us home. Let's see here. Well, if Eric can't get us out, keep us. All right. So, we'll thank you again for for showing up and being part of the show this evening. I guess if you haven't already, like I said, like, subscribe. We'll head it out from here. So as we always say, keep it real, keep it teal, and keep it real teal. Thanks everybody, and have a great evening.